Hi guys and welcome to Project Dad. In today's video I'm going to talk through our visit to the early pregnancy unit and maybe what you guys can expect if you're unfortunate to have to go. For those of you that don't know, the early pregnancy unit is kind of like where you get sent if there's potential for any problems in pregnancy up until I think it's around about 20-24 weeks. Whenever you're viable, I think from then on you go to regular pregnancy place, but up until then you go to the early pregnancy unit. So we ended up having a few issues, which meant that our midwife referred us to the early pregnancy unit in Leicester, and we weren't really sure what to expect, and it was a few days of panicking while we waited to go and have a scan. We went there. We weren't really sure where to go. The early pregnancy unit, particularly the one in Leicester, it's not really anything to do with the regular maternity ward, maybe where you go and get your scans, that sort of thing. It's a completely separate space. In Leicester specifically, it feels like it's kind of in the basement. It's a little odd. It took us a while to find it. When we got there, there was only a couple of people waiting, including us. The receptionist was pretty miserable, if I've got to be honest. If you're a patient, it's really not a good place to be. So to have a miserable person on the reception desk was not great. Despite going at the end of the day, our appointment was bang on time, which was pretty good, and I'm assuming they're just not that busy. We got taken into another room and we were asked a few questions, essentially signed in by a nurse who was lovely. She was super friendly and explained what was going to happen. And then we went back into the waiting room. While we were there, we saw one or two other people come out, and it's kind of hard to gauge kind of like what was going on with them, whether they were happy, whether they were sad or whatever. So you kind of just sat there waiting. We finally got called into the ultrasound room, and I was pretty much ignored. There was a seat next to the bed, and Jen laid down on the bed, did what you need to do to get your ultrasound. She had an external one on the abdomen. If for some reason they can't do an abdominal one, you may be offered or asked for an internal one. I think you can refuse if you don't want one, but it's an option, and it might mean they get a better picture as to what's going on. The ultrasound technician barely said 2 words to us. She kind of just did her thing, and then at one point she showed us the baby and a tiny little thing, looked like a gummy bear. So that essentially the ultrasound, but it's video, so it kind of moves around. The second you see that little heartbeat and she pointed out, your heart drops, but in a really good way. It's like a massive weight off your shoulders. She wasn't particularly nice, she wasn't particularly pleasant, because the people that were there, again, I really expected them to be a lot more sympathetic, and then they were, and they weren't. So she said that everything seems fine. Jen asked if there was any obvious cause for the problem she was having, and the ultrasound technician just said, no, I can't find anything. And then we were ushered out the room, went back into the waiting room. We weren't waiting too long. We then got pulled back into the room to see the nurse again, who booked us in. And again, she was lovely, explained that there didn't seem to be anything wrong, blah de blah de blah, and sent us on our way. It was pretty straightforward, pretty painless for both of us. It's just a shame that people weren't really a bit more sympathetic to why we were there. If you end up having to go to the early pregnancy unit for any reasons, the only thing I'd really suggest is try and be courteous. There's going to be other people there and you really don't know why they're there. It might be they've just come out with bad news, so you might not be being rude to them, but sort of like if you're really excited, if you come out really happy, I'd recommend try and keep it in, because the person that sat down next to you as you're walking past, they may have just had some bad news, and it's probably not nice to have someone coming out happy. For us in Leicester, they gave us this scan. It was free. Normally they charge when you're getting regular scans, but this one, it's just one printout. They didn't charge, which was good. And then we got really early. This was, I think, maybe about 7 weeks. Can't remember exactly now. That was our visit to the early pregnancy unit. I'm glad it was there. It was a bit of a pain to get there, because whenever Jen went to see the doctor, he kind of didn't want to know. Seeing your midwife was pretty difficult unless you already had an appointment, or at least it is for us in our area. In the back of my mind, I'm hoping everything's okay. We're now at about 20 weeks in, and everything seems fine. We just had a 20-week scan, but what the cause is for Jen having to have the initial scan, is there any knock-on effects? Is it completely unrelated? Is it just one of those things? I don't know. If you're a dad or dad-to-be and you're kind of a bit apprehensive about going, you want to know whether you should attend or anything like that, make sure you leave a comment down below. If you're a mum-to-be and you've had a different experience or just want to share it, make sure you put it in the comments down below. If you're new to our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and then you get new videos from us every single week. If you want to see what Jen and I get up to on a daily basis, make sure you check out our vlog channel and subscribe to us there. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.